Alright, this is Whaddafeck of Zato recording another Kolossium fight with Yergnok, Sacrier of Zato, and Rail Cleep, Sacrier of Rushu. We're testing against, looks like a 199 Craw, 194 SRAM, and 197 Sacrier, so this will be an interesting fight. It'll give us a chance to actually test out the tactics we've been discussing. We are testing 2.7 and the changes to the Sacrier currently with Vital Punishment, Sacrier's Foot, and Assault, as well as Sacrifice, to see pros and cons in combat, and hopefully provide some hard empirical data to the developers for their use and judgment. Rail just asked me if we were going to demonstrate Vital Punishment. I'd like to mention that I am in TeamSpeak currently with Rail and Yergnok, although you'll only hear one side of the conversation. Yes, Rail, I think at some point during the fight we should try and use it whenever we think it might be most tactically savvy to use a tanking vitality spell. I'll leave that to your judgment, sir. We can definitely see what the Kraw's main target is. What do you think about me casting Reducing Key on the SRAM? I can only do the SRAM. That's fine. As we discussed before, the Sacrier shouldn't be able to do too tremendous damage to me. Not in round one. I'm thinking he may lag his turn out after all. That, or they may be having their own discussion about what tactics to use on us. Although they don't appear to be on the same server. It's from 3 different servers, so they can't be the same players. So, it looks like we might be in a similar style of combat. 3 players versus 3 players. Yeah, unfortunately, because we have one that is lagging his turn out, we may not get the sort of fight we need to demonstrate our values here. But hey, we'll see what happens as the fight goes on. Rail, do you think you can swap with me for the purposes of, oh, never mind. I'd like to make a note here that Rail is an Omnisac, so he tends to use all of his punishments. In this case, he did only use 3. And he uses Fury as a way of increasing his plus damages as well as self-buffing. This is also a demonstration of how the Sacrier is, in fact, quite susceptible to erosion damage, which is, according to Leakin, supposed to be their great weakness. That Craw is certainly on the run, isn't he? Of course he's coming for me. Rail intends to, at the beginning of this fight, swap in with that Sacrier and use Vital Punishment, and then once he's in his weakened state, he's going to use the spells Assault and Sack's Foot to show the amount of damage that those spells can dish out, and show that tactic. Yurgnok is also self-buffing here with Nimble Punishment and Bold Punishment. Both Yurg and Rail are choosing this tactic because it's the most efficient way to build up damage as a Sacrier right now, seeing as the enemy will choose, if they can, to avoid damaging the Sack until they can stack up the most damage they can on them. In this case, of course, I'm the more primary target because of my ability to unbewitch and control the battlefield. So I would have to say that I'm probably the more attractive target. Also, I'm probably the squishiest. We could always demonstrate sacrifice by having them sacrifice me and prevent me from getting nuked right away. Thank you, Yurgi. My cohort of many years here, Yurgnok, just told me fat chance of that. Alright, here comes the illustrious Sack's Foot. Versus 14% resistance. Vitality Punishment has been activated, so he's now in the weakened state. It's also worth noting that you didn't really dodge lock him all that much. Alright, cross damage 585 and 498. Now in this situation with the Sacrier in the weakened state, their natural spells are fairly weak as far as the damage that they can dish out. As far as ranged utility, they get more utility from things like Perf Boomerang and Moonhammer. Assault does have a minor range on it, but it's typically not the choice spell in this scenario. We will demonstrate it though. Now this lower level Sacrier, 179, versus the damage done by Rail. We can see here with Metal Hammer attack, was a bit more attractive than casting Sacrier's Foot. Well, looks like these boys fell into my trap. They're both within range for my mass clumsiness spell. Alright, so there's Sacrier's Foot and Assault. So, how many AP was that used up, Rail? 12 AP. So, Fury, 2 Sex Foot and Assault. So we have 152, 226, 249, and 307. Now the damage being caused by the Craw is similar, with just 2 weapon swings. Well, I don't need to make that note in this one. I think it's pretty obvious at this point. It is worth noting if we didn't use the vitality punishment to demonstrate, or no, vitality punishment to demonstrate its effects and its use in combat. Chances are the other Craw would be dead by now. Now, are you out of that restriction now, Rail? Oh. We have a peccary user here. Of course. Lethal attack, critical hit, of course. That's kind of a bad one, but yeah. Single weapon swing with a peccary blade, 5 AP used, 1007. In this scenario, though, by him sacrificing the Craw, he actually gains a benefit because his own personal resistances are pretty crummy. The important thing that's done here is that it demonstrated what we can and can't do in combat. Alright, we've lost the weakened state, so we'll show comparative damage with close combat attacks. That's 8 AP used there. We just put the Sacrier's HP down to the point where he can punish. effectively halving his HP in almost one turn. It does certainly demonstrate that the choice tactics would be to Fury up, buff up, and weapon swing. And because of the vitality punishment, he will not be able to punish. I'm not entirely sure how he can. He might be able to with that repelling trap. Now, can you swap and do the weapon hit against the double to get extra HP? Yes, you can. You still have 3 AP, don't you? Hey, you killed a Sacrier with Sack's Foot! Oh, certainly. But it was entertaining at least. Well, I'd have to say the Sacrier was definitely a suicide button in that scenario. I have a feeling this Ram will kill you. Unless he drops that Pecky Blade. Well, he's out of options now. And the double showed up to give a good hand. How many AP is evasion? Okay. So he'll finish the job then. So I think the conclusion of that fight will be that in that specific scenario, in that particular setup, chances are we would have probably won that fight if you hadn't screwed around and cast other spells like Assault and Sack's Foot and Vital Punishment. But it was an excellent demonstration in choices in combat. This is Whaddafeck signing off on this particular attack. Before I sign out, I would like to point out that the suicide button for the enemy Sacrier occurred when he sacrificed the Craw, was it? Yeah, the Craw. Okay, Whaddafeck signing out for this video.